Welcome to the Business of Luxury Conference 2015. I'm joined today by Mario Testino, who's just been talking to us on stage. But what we were really trying to define was what your role is now. 15 years ago, I think it would have been quite straightforwardly, you would have been described as a photographer. Today, you could be any number of things, including creative consultant, brand manager, chief oracle of the future. How do you see your role to have
Well,
changed?
I think that the world has changed in its needs, and it's very interesting because a heart surgeon isn't called a cutter just because he cuts the body in order to reach the heart. That becomes one part of he has to think of what's the problem to then see how he's going to solve it. And I think for us it's almost like that. The photography has become just a small part of my business. I feel that I have to listen. There's so much going on before we actually get to take the photographs. So that's why I find calling myself a photographer is a little bit of a limitation.
Yeah.
Because it's not the only thing I do. I mean, I have to sit down, go and see the shows, decide what the company needs in order to convey what the designer is trying to say. Then when I actually go to producer, I don't only have to take a photograph, I have to do a film that goes with the photograph, because so many platforms today can take film and it's much more interesting for them to use it than just stay with photography. On top of that, we have to do all the behind the scenes, because that's what gets communicated through all the other digital platforms. And really, it's like more and more I'm noticing that I'm being asked to do press for companies. I'm being asked to go attend to the events. It's like everything's becoming one whole thing together.
It's the 360-degree approach, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that they no longer need just an image. It's not enough anymore, you know, for people.
But I think the important thing still is that as the photographer, as the kind of creative eye, that the whole thing needs to join together. And that's presumably what you're kind of working with the brands to deliver, is this kind of total sort of consistency of vision.
Years ago, a couple of my clients came to me and asked me, saying that they didn't want to work with advertising agencies anymore. They wanted to come directly and deal with me directly, the designers. And this started me creating my company today, which is Testino Plus, because I realized I had to give so many other services that I couldn't do myself. I couldn't do the layouts, I couldn't do the social medias, I couldn't do all the press alone. You know, I need help. So that started the whole process of growing into becoming more like a communicator in 360 degrees rather than just the person that executes. I think that a lot of the designers that I work with, they were finding this problem that they would hire an advertising agency to do a job, and they would sell the designer a concept, but when the pictures would come at the end, the concept was completely different to what they've been sold, because the advertising agency had to then find a photographer, a stylist, a whole team of people that would have to communicate what they had sold to the client. And the difference, I guess, the designers were finding is that they could come to me, talk to me, and if I'd say to them I will do this, they would actually get that because I was going to do it myself. Yeah. And I think it's almost like cutting a step. And I think I see it today. I mean, imagine this happened to me, and today it's even worse in the case that designers are doing the campaigns themselves.
Yeah.
Because maybe they don't even want to go and talk to the one photographer to do it, you know?
Well, I mean, there's a kind of, I think the cacophony of the internet, the number of voices, the number of hits, the sort of audience figures, the number of people involved, means that there is a sort of slight fear of dilution.
Diluting, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and they are right, you know? I mean, I look at Hedi Slimane doing Yves Saint Laurent, and what you see in the show is what you see in the pictures. I mean, I don't know if it works or not, that's beyond the point, but at least there is an absolute, you know, truth.
So by that logic, the next step for you then is a clothing line.
No, I'm not going that route. I've been that route already once for our museum in Peru to raise money. But I think that I would rather grow in a different way. Yeah. You know, I quite like the idea of teaching. I like the idea of space and designing spaces, because these are things that I do all the time, and maybe there's something there for me to grow. And I also, having done my Instagram, I find that I really enjoy it, having my own platform to communicate, and I'm going to grow that.
So it will be the School of Mario Testino.
The School of Mario, the MTTV. I mean, I have a lot of things starting at the moment that I want to develop.
Thank you very much, Mario.
Thank you so much. You were very good on stage.
Thank you.